I just wanted to come on and talk about something that I've not really experienced before, and maybe you guys are going through a similar thing yourselves. Obviously, it's not even been a week since the tragedy with Jota and his brother Andre dying last week. Um, Obviously, like so many families impacted, and we're all impacted. I'm gonna just talk about Jota for the minute, not to Andre's life was just as important as Jota's. But Jota is the one for me who I can't stop thinking about. And it's a weird feeling because, like, obviously I said it to, Kerry at home, and I say it to, and like my daughter even asked me about it. And like it's a weird thing to be kind of quietly grieving someone you haven't met. Like, I was home at the weekend, and like my family's just getting on with life. Obviously I said it to Kerry, she thought it was terrible, and to be fair, she even said herself, God, I can't stop thinking about that. But like there was a couple of moments where I'm going through what some of the players are saying. I'm like, I think I have to leave the room, or process it, or go to the bathroom or something like that, and then come back. And it's a weird feeling that, like, to normally when someone in your life dies that you feel this strongly about, it's a collective thing with people that your immediate sort of family or your immediate friends. But I mean, normally you're kind of sharing that with people who are close to you. So it's a weird feeling to be kind of like, I have not been impacted by a death from someone I didn't know like this. You know what I mean? Where you're kind of like, I think about it all the time, and because it's so shocking and it's so sudden, and you're just kind of like still like, what the fuck? And I just wanted to maybe talk a little bit about that, of the process of kind of grieving, if grieving's the right word. Um, but it is, like, for someone that you didn't know personally, because it's a weird feeling to be sitting there at home and your family's kind of getting on with just general life, and you're kind of still thinking like, you know, and like, I know this is just me and my own like shite, but like a part of me felt was a little bit embarrassed, or like it felt a bit embarrassing to talk about this with like non-Liverpool fans, even though I'm sure they'd understand, and they would if I said it, I'm sure. But you kind of feel like, oh, you're like, don't be silly, like you didn't even fucking know him, or like something like that. Like no one said that, but that's what I feel like might happen or something. I know it's a lot of shite, but I'm kind of thinking, if I'm feeling that, maybe other people are too. And I suppose the best way to put it would be, I didn't know him, but he mattered to me, you know? And it's a real feeling, you know what I mean? But in a weird way, it's easier for me to talk about how I'm feeling to the camera. And I'm posting it because it might help other people if they're feeling the same way. But there's no right way to grieve, you know what I mean? And I think as the days go on now, like, it's a weird one. Like, as much as I hate this feeling, I think I'll be sad when Liverpool stop exclusively posting about Jota and post their first non-Jota related story, because then it's kind of, and it has to happen, and but then it's kind of like, we're moving forward, are we? Like, we're just accepting that this happened, even though you have to accept that it happened. That's just, we'll all have to accept it. But it'd be kind of brutal, because it's kind of like, that's now a thing of the past. It's not immediate. That's a thing of the past. The day or the few days after it happened, like, he's not even had the funeral yet. It's all just, so everyone is gathered in a universal what the fuck and sadness and all this sort of stuff. But there's a weird sense of community or collective shared emotion, that there's something a little bit comforting about knowing that you're not the only one going through it, and we're all feeling the exact same way right now. Like, it's not a nice feeling, but it is a sense of we're all together. But then, like, the funeral happens, and the people start to post about other things, and this collective shared feeling gets kind of fragmented, and you're still talking about it, but you're also talking about other stuff, and people are kind of starting to look ahead to what's coming up and things like that, and the focus isn't purely on this one horrible thing. And it's like, it's not that people aren't still dealing with it in their own way, but there's not this collective, like, I don't even have to ask you how you're feeling right now because I feel the same way. So for me personally, I kind of feel like, you want to hold on to the feeling, even if it's a horrible feeling, because we're all kind of sharing it. But then maybe when things start to move on, you might feel a little bit like on your own, or like, fuck, I still can't get over that. And people are just kind of seem to be okay with it now, and things like that. And that's not the case. Everyone grieves their own way, and everyone processes things in their own way. Then what they're showing on the outside, as I'm sure most of you know, is not always a reflection of how they're feeling on the inside. It's a strange one because it's like, you want it, or I find I want it to stay front and center, and I want people to still talk about it all the time, and I don't want people to talk about other stuff. But then on the other side of me, I hate seeing it, and I would love to not be reminded of it all the time. And like, so it's a weird, like, I guess that's grief in a weird way, is that like you want to let go and hold on at the same time. So I don't know if there was a real point in this. I'm just getting my own thoughts out, because just because you didn't know him doesn't make it any less real. Do you know what I mean? And everyone grieves in their own way, and people will start to just kind of go back to putting stuff out that's not relating to it. I'll probably end up talking about Liverpool again. But just know everyone grieves in their own way. So if you see things starting to move on, you're like, fuck, are we forgetting about this? Like, no, we're not. And when it's a bit less raw and I have a bit more time to think in that space, I'll put out a much more celebratory video on Jota, and look at a proper tribute and my proper favorite moments, favorite goals, and all that sort of stuff. Just still doesn't feel like the right time to do it for me. That's just for me though. But thank you very much for watching. Again, I appreciate all the kind words on the last video. I hope this made sense in some way, but just wanted to get it out. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.